Hey guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at the 28-liter Allpa pack from Cotopaxi. And I've been a big fan of Cotopaxi for a while. On the channel, one of our earliest videos was of the Nazca pack, which was actually a very similar bag to this. It was a little bit smaller and didn't have all the same travel features that this bag here has, but very similar style. And a while ago, Cotopaxi released a 35-liter version of this bag, which looked really cool. I've actually been curious to try that one as well. But it wasn't until I saw the 28-liter that I was really hooked. That size just seemed like a great kind of minimal carry-on size that might also work well for daily use. So I've been testing this out for the past couple of weeks, and so far it's been great to use. I really love the size and the style. It's a nice follow-up to the Nazca pack with some improved features. It's not quite perfect. There's a few caveats that we'll definitely go into throughout the video. But for the most part, if you're looking for a minimal carry-on travel bag, this is going to be a great option to take a look at. So I'm really excited to share this with you guys, and let's just go ahead and dive in and take a closer look at the 28-liter Allpa pack from Cotopaxi. So starting out with the outside of the bag, Cotopaxi has chosen to go with a very minimal and clean look here for the Allpa pack. I really like the combination of colors that they have. There's some very interesting pops. So the version that I have here is a gray version that has some blue and yellow and green all around. They also have a black version that has pops of red on it. So lots of interesting combinations. It really makes the bag stand out a little bit amongst the sea of black bags that I typically try to look at. But besides the color, very simple on the outside, no pockets on the front, just a simple logo, very clean silhouette, no outside pockets really of any sort. One thing that I noticed immediately was there is no water bottle compartment on the outside, which is unfortunate, but they do sell an attachable one. There's a variety of latch points on the outside, which you can use to combine with carabiners or with accessories that are sold by Cotopaxi. The bag is made from a very durable feeling 1000D polyester tarpaulin material, and it also has some ballistic nylon throughout. It's a very durable and sturdy feeling bag. It definitely feels like it's going to hold up well over the longer term. It has nice YKK zippers all throughout. The zippers seem to offer a fair amount of water resistance as well. And even though I'm confident that the materials of the bag on its own would help keep you protected from majority of light rain, it's nice that the company also included a stowable rain cover to help add that extra bit of protection. If you get caught in a downpour, it's always nice to have this extra layer to help keep your stuff protected. So jumping into the capacity of the bag, as mentioned in the title, this is the 28-liter version of the bag. There's also a 35-liter, which is typically the size that I like to use for traveling for 2 to 3 weeks or a month. But I was very intrigued by the 28-liter size. It just was an interesting option that seemed to work well for both daily and travel use. The bag has a very slim silhouette. It really hugs my back as I'm wearing it, even when it's completely full, which I really love. I definitely feel comfortable wearing this throughout the day on public transit, walking around the city. One thing that I will mention about the capacity is that it didn't hold quite as much as I would have anticipated based on the shape and style of the bag. So when I was packing this out, I did have to rearrange my stuff a little bit differently than what I would typically use for a travel bag. So I was still able to fit most of the same things that I would take for a multiple week trip. The one thing is that I was not able to fit that second pair of shoes that I typically like to take with me. So we'll go into a little bit more detail on the issues that I had packing this out when we dive into the main area, but still like the overall capacity and shape that the bag provides. While we're on the outside, I'll also mention the 4 handles that the bag has. It has 2 on the sides and 1 on the top and bottom. And these are very comfortable to hold. They feel very well reinforced, so it feels like even if you have a lot of weight on the bag, they're gonna hold up well. Some nice stitching here. And the one on the top has a little bit of extra padding, so if you wanna carry it by this top handle or pick it up and put it down, it's gonna be easy to grab. It's pretty slim. All of them seem to hug the back well, so they don't stick out too awkwardly. It's also nice that they offer nice pops of colors. And then it's really nice to have them on the top and bottom so that if you wanna put it into an overhead storage compartment, it's easy. Also, you can tuck the straps away, as we'll look at in a second. So when you tuck them away, it's nice to be able to carry this in briefcase mode, and because of the smaller size, it actually carries very nicely in that mode. In addition to the attachment points that we showed earlier, there's also some here closer to the bottom, which would also serve to combine for some of those accessories like attaching the external water bottle pocket. And so moving on to the straps and the back paneling, this is an area where the bag excelled a lot in my opinion. The straps have been very comfortable to wear. They're nicely padded. They have a nice kind of gel-like material here that makes them feel really soft on the shoulders. On the inside, there's no sort of mesh material, so that would have been nice to help prevent moisture from building up, but they're still very comfortable. I really like the contoured shape, and the width of the straps is pretty nice for the size. Since this isn't that big of a bag, this is a very nice width for the shoulders, so they're not overpowering either. The straps also include an adjustable sternum strap, which helps distribute the weight. And then you also have the ability to tuck the straps away. So they have these nice durable clips here that you can remove easily, 1 on each side. And then there's these slots at the top under the back paneling where you can easily tuck the straps away. I have to release the sternum strap there. The bag has a very clean look at the bottom. You can tuck in the leftover straps here, and then the bag is very easy to either check if you need to for whatever reason, or to carry around in briefcase mode if you just want to have less stuff dangling around. Moving on to the back paneling, the bag has a very nice air mesh material here. It's very soft and comfortable. It feels great against the back. The meshing material here would have been nice to see on the straps, as it does help prevent that moisture from building up when you're wearing it with a lot of weight. It would have been nice to also see some elevation around the bag to provide just that extra bit of airflow, but it's hard to complain because the bag has really been comfortable. This is one of the areas of the bag that has been the best to use. In addition to the comfortable straps and back paneling, the bag also includes a waist strap that you can tuck away. This is very, very similar to the waist strap that was used on the Nazca pack, and when I used that bag, I did talk about how I really didn't like the inclusion of this. I feel that for this size bag, it's not gonna help that much, and the waist strap that was included is just not very useful. It doesn't have any sort of padding to help provide that extra bit of support. It's not very comfortable, and it also ends up at an awkward height around my stomach when I wear the bag at the point where I typically like to use it. So really wish they had just kind of left this out, or at least made it removable. You do have the ability to tuck it away under the straps, but then you still kind of have a little bit of a bulge here on the bottom, which I don't like to feel. So nice that you can tuck them away and give the bag a cleaner look. But honestly, over the longer term, I might actually consider cutting these off, just because I don't feel like it adds much value to the bag, and it does add some clutter that I prefer not to have. One last note on the back paneling is it seems like this would have been a nice area to include some sort of suitcase pass-through. Because of the size of this bag and it being a little bit smaller, this might be one of the more common bags that people will want to pair with a larger carry-on suitcase. And so jumping into the organizational options of the bag, the first pocket I'll talk about is this quick access compartment on the side. It has a nice YKK zipper with a good amount of water resistance here. And so opening this up, this is just a very small, slim compartment. This is where you might be able to store the rain cover if you do want to take it with you. This would be a great spot to kind of pack it in there. When the bag is filled out, there's not a lot of leftover space here, so I typically end up using this more for my phone or for travel documents that I want to get to quickly, or my wallet. But it is a little bit on the exposed side too. It does rest kind of close to my back, but it doesn't have any sort of ability to lock, and it might be an area which would be easy to reach by pickpocket. So you do want to be a little bit careful if you put something more sensitive there. It's not like the hidden compartments that we see on the back paneling sometimes that are harder to get through. And so in general, the bag has very minimal organizational options. In addition to the quick access compartment that we just looked at, there is one kind of accessory compartment on the front, which I really love how it was implemented. First off, you can see with the zippers, they have these kind of security zippers that don't lock, but you can tuck them under this bit of fabric here, which prevents it from sliding up too easily. So if you're walking in an area with some pickpockets, this will provide at least a little bit of deterrence and extra security so that you actually have to thread it through. It's not that easy to get to. This is a nice larger compartment on the outside. I really like the volume offered here. It comes up a lot to be able to hold some of those bulkier items. If you saw the review that we did for the Amazon Essentials travel jacket, you saw that I was able to stuff the whole jacket into this compartment. And so just kind of a big bucket area. There's a little bit of internal organization. And so going through the items that I currently have here, first off, I have my UTech wireless charger for my phone. Then I also have my Kindle. Then I just have my small field notes notebook. And then I also have my Ray-Bans with their case. And the last thing here in this kind of main area that I have is my GoPro Hero 3 Plus. And so now with the compartment empty, you can kind of just see how much space is offered there. It comes down about a quarter or a third of the way of the bag. So down to where my fingers are pointing right now. And so I love the amount of space offered here. This would be a great spot to put something like Beats headphones. If you have the bulkier ones that fold up, you can stick them in here. They should fit in there comfortably. You can also stick a toiletry bag in here or a DOP kit. So lots of versatility when you have compartments that have this much volume. So really like how this was implemented here. On the inside, you also have a little lanyard for your keychain or for a multi-tool. Currently what I have here is my Gerber Shard, but as you can see, it has a fair amount of length here, a nice simple plastic clip, so nice to have that extra bit of organization so that you can reach your keys easily. And then there's also a little bit of internal organization in this compartment, so there's this nice mesh zippered area so you can see what's on the inside. Opening that up, one thing I'll note about it, it is a little bit of a slimmer compartment, especially when the bag is filled up. It kind of presses up against the main compartment, so not that much volume here. So if you have something thicker, it's not going to be able to fit that easily. But I was able to squeeze in my hard drive. And then looking at the inside here, there's a few slip pockets. So there's one larger one here that I was able to use for my Apple Magic Mouse. And this is pretty wide, so I could have fit something probably a little bit bigger, but it's pretty thin, so nothing too bulky in here. And then I also have a smaller slip compartment next to that where I currently just have a USB-C hub. So just nice to have some smaller slip compartments that you can use to organize smaller items that you don't want floating around. Next up, I want to talk about the laptop compartment. So the bag has a really nice side access laptop compartment. It has the same kind of security loop that we saw on the quick access compartment, so providing a little bit of deterrence there against thieves. And so threading that through, it comes out easily. This is nice to have the side access area with a nice big opening so that if you're taking this through TSA, you can get your laptop out very quickly. And so currently what I have in here is my 13-inch MacBook Pro. And you can see that this would definitely be able to hold a 15-inch laptop. There's some leftover space here at the top. And so nice amount of padding in the compartment. You can definitely feel a frame sheet here to provide a little bit of support and protection. I was sad to see that the bottom of the laptop compartment is not elevated from the ground, so you don't have that extra bit of protection, but still nice amount of padding all around. And so pulling the laptop out, it comes out very easily. In addition to the laptop area, there's also a separate sleeve for a tablet. It has this nice Velcro strap here to help keep it in place and keep it separated from the laptop area. And so you can fit up to a 10-inch tablet in here. Currently what I have is my iPad mini 2. So nice to have that extra separation and organization if you want to carry both devices. The sleeve offers a nice amount of padding. It's definitely better than some of the just simple sleeves that we've seen on other bags. So I wish it was a little bit thicker, that it had some felt lining, but in general, I like the amount of protection that it offers. And so jumping into the main compartment, you see the same protected zipper here with the little loop to help prevent against pickpockets getting into it too easily. And so threading these through, the bag has a nice thick YKK zipper here and a wide suitcase style opening. So opening this up, you can open it flat and see everything that's in the main compartment. They have two separate areas to help you organize your stuff a little bit more easily. On the flap, there's a very simple zippered compartment here for smaller accessories, for maybe something like a charger or some socks or something. There's not a lot of volume to this one. And I chose to leave this empty, and that kind of leads me into some of the issues that I had with this style of bag. So even though the compartments are nice and it offers a fair amount of space, I did have trouble closing the bag at many points depending on how my items were laid out. And as I mentioned, I wasn't able to fit the extra pair of shoes that I typically like to travel with. And that's because when there's just too much stuff in both sides, it gets very hard to get the bag to close. And even if I was able to squeeze it closed, it felt like there was a lot of pressure on the zipper. So I was a little bit disappointed at how much I kind of struggled to organize everything into these compartments with my particular packing style. Now, if you don't typically use packing cubes and you have a little bit more flexibility in how you can move stuff around in the compartments, this may actually be a great way to pack a bag out. But for me personally, it didn't quite match up with the way that I typically like to organize everything. So starting off with kind of the main bucket area, you can open up the mesh zipper that kind of keeps everything in its place. And so in this compartment, I have my in-case accessory pouch, which has some of the larger tech accessories that I wanted to carry with me that didn't quite fit in the front. And then the bag has two compression straps in this main area to help kind of cinch down whatever you have in here, prevent it from moving around, or even just give yourself a little bit of additional space. I also have my larger double-sided packing cube with my jeans and my dress shirts and larger clothing items. And so now with the compartment empty, you can see that it's just a very simple kind of bucket, no additional organization in here, just a nice area for you to throw in your larger clothing items or a larger packing cube as I had. One thing I noticed as I packed this out is I did have some leftover space, but I had to leave that to allow the bag to close on itself. If I tried to fill up every bit of available space, it became very difficult to close the bag. Moving on to the other side, there is a smaller zippered opening that you have here. You still have full use of this compartment, which was one of the things that I was curious about when I was researching this bag online, was whether it just stopped here or if you actually had the inside area to use. So I was happy to see that the compartment does go all the way up. We'll take a closer look in a second. And so first up, here I have my Toms that I take with me on every trip. Then I also have my smaller packing cube with my socks and t-shirts and smaller clothing items. And then here tucked up at the top of this compartment, I have my air travel kit, which is my favorite DOP kit. And so now with the compartment empty, you can get a closer look at the inside and kind of the segmentation between the areas. Here you see this little gap here, and this is the space that's used for the main compartment on the front. But you can see that it kind of shares that space with whatever you tuck up here. So it's a little bit harder to use this for anything long. This is about the space that you're limited to for something thicker, but it's nice to have that extra bit of space here at the top to sneak something like a jacket or the DOP kit as I had, or maybe even an additional pair of shoes or sandals. Even though it's nice to have some of these extra zippers and compartments, it does feel like sometimes you sacrifice some amount of capacity for that, even though it's a larger bag. So definitely not my ideal way to travel, but I think it's going to be a system that's going to work well for travelers that aren't so kind of fixed in their ways of organizing their stuff. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the 28-liter Allpa pack from Cotopaxi. The bag has been very comfortable to wear. It feels very well built. It has some nice organizational features, and it's just a really fantastic size. And so you can purchase this on Amazon or Cotopaxi's site for about $170. They also sell the 35-liter version of the Allpa pack for a little bit more. That comes in closer to $200 if you need a little bit more capacity. And they also have different tiers depending on what accessories you combine with the bag. So they do sell like an attachable, detachable water bottle and a packable day bag. So lots of different options, but the bag itself is going to be $170. And I think that's a really good price point considering the build quality of the bag and the different features that it offers. And so there are definitely some great bags in this category to compare this to. The first one that comes to mind is the Tortuga Set Out Divide, which I've mentioned in a lot of different videos. That's been one of my favorite kind of hybrid travel bags that I've used in the past couple of months. It is able to compress and expand from 26 liters to 34 liters. So you have that flexibility to use it for daily use or for traveling. It's very well built, very comfortable, and it's in a similar price range. It's gonna come in at about $180. So you get a little bit more bag, in my opinion, for your money. The next bag that this reminded me of was the Topo Designs Travel Pack, which we looked at recently. That's also in a similar price range at about $180, $190. That's sold in multiple sizes as well. We reviewed the 30-liter travel pack on the channel, which was pretty close in size to this one. A very outdoorsy styled bag. And that bag also doesn't feel like it's gonna have the same weather resistance as this one, but it does offer tons of space and great organizational options. I feel like that one's able to hold just a little bit more. The clamshell opening that it has works a little bit better than the suitcase style of this one. And even though it's a little bit bigger, it still kind of has that smaller silhouette that works well for daily use. The next bag I recommend checking out would be the Arquitos Saxon, which has been one of the best kind of minimal daily / travel bags that we've looked at on the channel recently. It comes in at about 25 liters, so it's a little bit smaller than this, but it's just so simple and has such a nice big bucket main compartment that you're able to store a ton of stuff in it. So not quite as much as this, but it does compete and it does work a little bit better for daily use in my opinion. I really love the minimal style of that bag and it's just really lightweight and well made. And that bag's gonna come in at about $120, so it's also gonna help you save a little bit of money if you don't need all the kind of more advanced travel features that this offers. Another option I'll mention here is the Nomadic Travel Pack, which is of course one of my favorite travel packs that we've ever reviewed on the channel. The fact that it goes from daily to travel use, it includes a ton of great and unique features. A removable waist belt is very comfortable to wear. It's gonna be a great option to compare to this. When you're able to get it with a discount, it comes in at about $190, so very close in price to this, but you do get a lot of bang for your buck. And then the last option I'll mention here, since we talked about it so much throughout the video, would be the Cotopaxi Nazca pack, which we looked at a while ago, which is very similar in style to this one. It works a little bit better as a daily bag. It's a 24-liter capacity, so a little bit smaller, but very similar kind of suitcase style opening. The pockets are all very similarly laid out, and that one's gonna be a little bit cheaper, so if you like this style of bag and you don't need quite as much space, or you just wanna save a little bit of money, that's gonna be a great option to look at as well. But with all that being said, the 28-liter Allpa pack has been great to use. I really love the size and silhouette that the bag has. It's been very comfortable. It feels like it's gonna hold up well over the longer term. And if you're looking for a minimal carry-on bag that's gonna work well on a variety of different airlines and just has a very unique kind of look and style, definitely recommend you check this one out. If you guys have any questions about how this compares to a lot of these similarly sized travel bags that we've looked at on the channel in the past, please let me know in the comments. And if you found this video useful, please go ahead and give us a like below. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. And thank you guys so much.